Ian Begley with ESPN New York with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team. All right, Beggs, the Knicks, 10 losses on the season, 3-10. They lose last night. They lost 2 in a row. The biggest issue with the New York Knicks is?
I'd say defense right now. I mean, it's so everyone's talking about their triangle offense, but this team just doesn't have the personnel to stop people. I mean, if you look at their statistics, they are the worst team in the league in defending the three-point shot. They're giving it up at about a rate of 43%. That's awful. And that's where they're getting beat. They're also getting beat on penetration. And, I don't think it's a scheme thing. I really think it's a talent thing. This team just doesn't have strong defenders outside of, Iman Shumpert and, Ken Downbear has a good reputation as a defender, but this hasn't worked out as five-man units so far this season. So if you're asking me the biggest problem, I would say it is just that.
So it's not a philosophy issue. It's a personnel issue as far as defense goes.
Yeah, I think more personnel than philosophy. It's interesting, though, that Derek Fisher said the other day that, his priority would be for the Knicks to defend the paint and defend transition and not worry as much about the outside shot. And that kind of leads you to wonder if that philosophy is hurting the Knicks because they're getting torched so badly from the perimeter. Minnesota last night, they entered the game averaging just 5 3-pointers made per game, and they went off for 11 last night against the Knicks. Kevin Warren himself had 7. So there's an issue on the perimeter, and it really needs to be solved if this team is going to do anything this season.
Ian Begley of ESPN New York with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team. And Bags, it's funny, we're talking about biggest issue being defense because the triangle is what was supposed to be the big struggle and the headline going into the season. Last night, the Knicks only scored 99 points, and some of their scoring names, Shumpert, Hardaway Jr., J.R. Smith, they were not good shooting last night. What are you seeing with the triangle?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the glaring issues from last night. Production from shooting guard. But what I think is, in general, you're seeing this team taking baby steps when it comes to the triangle. Spacing's getting better night by night. The shots they get are getting better night by night. But really, the team is not going to win games if they can't make stops. So I think, yes, the triangle is an issue. It's going to continue to be an issue. But, I think that's less of a concern right now than what is being played on the defensive end or what it's used to be made on the defensive end. If you look at last night, Carmelo and Amari didn't play the fourth quarter, but they both had pretty efficient nights prior to that. So I think what you're seeing from the offense, you're kind of liking it. Obviously, on a night like last night against Minnesota, you'd like to see more from the two guards. By and large, the offense was okay.
Here's the one, Beggs, that really gets me. A couple nights ago, J.R. Smith comes out, says he's embarrassed by the Knicks' effort, and his statement all around kind of sounded like he was taking a leadership role. Is this J.R. Smith growing up, becoming mature, or is this a situation where he should just shut up?
You know what? I think it's okay for him to share his frustrations. I think that's what fans, want to hear. Fans sharing that frustration. When the team is getting blown out against some of the lesser teams in the NBA. A player has to come out and say, yeah, this is embarrassing. Now, I don't know if it was really J.R. taking on a leadership role. I think maybe it was just his frustration boiling over. But I think, fans appreciate that, hearing a player kind of be honest about what he's feeling in the midst of some bad losses. So I don't think, anyone in that locker room should have a problem with J.R.
Ian Begley of ESPN New York with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team. What's your feeling on Carmelo? Carmelo, after the game last night, said that he didn't want to get used to losing. And then last week, Carmelo Anthony said that he's already tired of talking about the lack of energy coming from this ball club. Where is Carmelo Anthony's frustration level at right now? Do you have a long-term concern for this guy this year?
I think part of what's interesting about this season is that Derek Fisher and Phil Jackson, they have this plan in place. They just want to see this team make progress, take a step in the right direction after a 37-win season. So I don't think anyone's expecting a championship. That being said, I think that's what plays into the frustration level. I think Carmelo can see the big picture. So by and large, he's not going to be as frustrated as he was last season. That being said, it's got to boil over for him at some point, right? I mean, I would think they continue to lose games. He's going to express that frustration at some point. But as far as right now goes, seems like he's seeing the big picture, and he's taking it for what it is at this point.
Ian Begley, ESPN New York, and Coach Fisher is going through some adversity early on with the team at 3-10. How is the first-year head coach handling all of this, Ian?
I think his relationship with the players, his way he talks to them after losses and at practices has kind of eased any kind of tension in that locker room that would be results of losing. But you got to win games. I mean, that's what he's here for. So if you're grading Derek Fisher, you can't give him more than a 4 at this point because of where the team is. Obviously, the talent isn't where you'd like it to be or anyone else would like it to be, but you still talked about making the playoffs coming into the season, so you can't give Fisher a pass here.
Good stuff. Ian Begley of ESPN New York. Follow him on Twitter at Ian Begley. Beggs, good catching up, man.
Thanks, guys. Take care.